Hello, welcome to JIBRIN Angle on Oweleke TV. My name is JIBRIN, and this is my angle. Today we are going to be talking about VDM, also known as Very Dark Man. Obviously, that's the trending news for the past 2 days, and we'll be talking about it. I think we'll be taking it from both angles, especially from the legal angle, and that is why I have with me today Barrister Austin Manta, who is the best person that will ever be able to actually give us the legal perspective of this whole saga. All right, everyone. I think it's public. It's in the public domain now. We all are aware of what has happened with Very Dark Man, the role the GTBank played in his arrest by the EFCC, and the rumors of people behind this issue, this arrest or whatever. But before them, let's introduce Barrister Austin Manta. For those of you who have been following this show, Barrister Austin Manta is a regular face. You're someone you know already. But those of you who are new on this show, he is a very senior legal practitioner of over 40 years in practice, a public affairs analyst as well. So, Barrister, thank you once again for joining us on this segment of the show.
It's always my pleasure to be here.
All right. What, Barrister? I don't get it. What is going on with this VDM matter? Before we go for the angle for the legal aspect of it. Let's talk about the public image of it. There's a rumor that what's his name is involved, is the force behind his arrest. What's his name? The president's son. How do I always forget this boy's name? Sheyi Tinubu is behind it. And some other names have come up. I don't. Those names are not the ones that is more relevant. Is Sheyi Tinubu's name, and GTBank. I had. I think I've read the detailed story of what really happened, what really transpired within the premises of the GTBank, where the mom. I think GTBank has issue with the mom's salary. The mom's account, salary account, had an issue. So they went, VDM had to go with the mom to the bank to sort out this issue. But after sorting out the issue, he was actually stuck in I think, this security door in the bank, where I think that's the security door, I think, is a kind of revolving. I don't know if it's a kind of revolving door, but a security door where you enter, the first open, you enter, and inside, while you are inside, both doors are shut, both in and out, exit and out. So until the entrance door is shut, the one for the exit will not be open, will not open. I think he got stuck in between. That means just like a box, a sort of. So, and was there for some time until EFCC eventually arrived to pick him up or whatever. I don't want to go into further details. Barrister, what is your thought on this whole debacle? Before we go, we'll talk about the legal angle of it. What the hell is going on? Because GTBank, people you have an account with GTBank, obviously. I have an account with GTBank. The thing is hitting GTBank with, in fact, it's trending. People are just damaging their GTBank debit cards, withdrawing their money en masse, and closing down their account. They're not just withdrawing money, but shutting down their account completely. It's affecting GTBank in a very, 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 very negative way. I don't even know why a bank will be involved in this kind of political issues. Barrister, what is your take on this?
Well, first of all, let me say that the issue of Very Dark Man is still evolving. It's something that just happened day before yesterday. The facts and other issues associated with it are just coming up. into the public domain. But so far, what we know is that he was arrested at the bank. There is a group saying that GT he was arrested inside the bank, others outside. There's the whole story about it. GT was forced to react, and they showed CCTV camera where they claimed VERYDARKMAN finished his transaction and exited the bank into the car park. So allegedly, they are saying he was arrested after he had finished from the bank and was on his way. Although the CCTV video did not show the point of arrest, but it showed him exiting the bank into the car park. But the point at which he was arrested was not disclosed. But my view of this issue is, initially there was confusion as to whether it was the police or the EFCC that arrested him. But now we are pretty certain that he was arrested by the EFCC. Having said that, I know the modus operandi of the EFCC when they want to arrest somebody, and apparently they are not able to easily pick up somebody. They have a lot of tools that they use. One of them is the banks. If you maintain an account with the bank and they are looking for you, they will write a letter to the bank and tell the bank to disable all your online means of withdrawal or transaction and leave only the counter. And then in the letter, they will say that if the person now comes to do transaction at the counter, they should delay him and alert the EFCC so that EFCC will come and arrest him. I have myself taken GTB to court with EFCC for fundamental rights, where they wrote such a letter to GT. Unfortunately for them, my client was out of the country, was in Egypt, so they could not arrest him at the counter. But they disabled his ATM, they disabled his bank app. He could not withdraw money, he could not do any transaction. And in the letter, they said that when the person comes to the counter to complain or do transaction, they should delay him and alert them so that they will drive in quickly and pick him. So that is the modus operandi that the security agencies use regularly, not just EFCC, even the police, when they want to arrest somebody. The funny part of this thing is that this was not VERYDARKMAN's personal account. It is his mother's account. And the other aspect of it, which I am yet to know, the sister and the brother both say the mother has had this issue since the beginning of the year. Okay, let's assume since January. Whenever she has a salary, the GTBank will deduct for an alleged loan. So what I don't know is why this is April. It must be April salary, 4 months. So I'm beginning to wonder, why would it take 4 months to complain if your salary is being diverted for an alleged loan, which you say you didn't take? So everything about this so far is not yet clear. The facts are not yet clear. Like the suspicion and allegations that Say Tinubu is behind it, some other people are behind it. All of that is still in the public domain for now. Is quickly evolving. More facts are coming up even as we speak. But we know that he has been denied bail by the EFCC. His lawyer, Deji Adeyanju, is on the matter. I think he has gone to EFCC and he's promising to file the necessary court papers for his release.
Wow. Honestly, this is what you just mentioned now is a breaking news. That means you're confirming to us that it's a formal relationship that the bank has with EFCC. Okay, we are aware of other formal relationships by law that they are obligated to have a relationship that they're obligated to have with EFCC. EFCC is actually, I think, by law, they are technically part of the regulatory body institution for the bank, apart from CBN, actually, because of this issue of money, financial crimes here and there. But I didn't know you personally actually had this same experience as a lawyer with your client. Is sort of so. It obviously means that you are confirming that there is okay. Apart from what you just said that doesn't make sense about the issue with the mom's VDM's mom's salary account that was dated back early this year, since January or whatever. Okay, apart from that, it's obviously you're just confirming to us that GTBank actually had this agreement, this arrangement with EFCC. That is just what you just confirmed because you had the same experience with GTBank to the extent that you even took them to court.
Let me elaborate on that.
Yes, please.
They do this thing illegally.
Oh, really?
And we had to challenge the matter in court. We took both EFCC and GTBank to court, and the court awarded damages against GT. In fact, GT has paid those damages so far.
Wow.
Because what the EFCC does is they will write a letter to the bank, and they will instruct the bank to remove all non-banking hall transaction apps and applications from an account. That means if you are having an account in this modern day, you cannot use your phone to transfer, you cannot use your laptop to transfer, cannot use your ATM card to transact unless you go to the
physical appearance.
Unless you make a physical appearance in the bank. So it is a restriction on an account. And they do it without getting a court order. And it is illegal.
Wow.
They have done it repeatedly. So we had to take them to court. The bank is not under an obligation to honor a letter from EFCC per se to restrict somebody's account, except the letter is accompanied by a court order. But they have not been doing that. They have been repeatedly obeying the instructions from EFCC, restricting people's account and setting a trap for the customer that EFCC want. When you are not able to use your ATM, you are not able to use the bank app to transact, you are forced to go to the branch, and they will secondly contact the EFCC that the person they are looking for is now within our wall.
Wow.
So why EFCC are on their way, they find a way to delay you, tell you some this thing, this and that, see this person, see this. Why you are being delayed, EFCC are on their way. Wow. Eventually they get to the hall and the arrest. That has been the modus operandi. And particularly with GT, they have notorious. And wow. It's I'm a lawyer, I'm one of the external recovery lawyers for GT. And I had this issue, but I had to take them to court, and the court awarded damages in our favor, and they have actually paid. And I told them, what you are doing is not right. Anytime EFCC writes a letter to you in that manner, make sure it is accompanied by a court order. If you can only obey it at your own risk, because anybody will be entitled to take you to court. So I suspect in this case, that is what apparently happened.
Honestly, I just hope this clip gets to VDM and his legal team, because you are a very, very good and credible person that can actually stand as a, I don't know if I will call it a witness, because you've had this experience, you have the evidence, you just like you said, you took them to court and they already made the settlement or whatever. So this is a very, very, very good evidence for the legal team for VDM. This is, honestly, to me, it's breaking news. I never knew you had this experience. I brought you on this show basically from the legal angle of it. We'll talk about it. We've never even started it. I wanted to do what they are, the alleged charges against him. We've not, EFCC have not really come about what we heard that they are charging, they want to charge him with. Sort of. So, but again, I just hope, because you are a very, you are a very cogent and potent weapon for their case against GT. Honestly, at least because GT obviously will deny, even if they take GT to court, GT obviously will deny, their lawyers will deny that they are aware of all those things or whatever. So with your case and a proven case, obviously it will be a very strong weapon against whatever defense GT is going to put up there. All right.
And let me just add, the bank will not tell you the details. They will not tell you that we have received a letter from social agency,
yeah, of course,
to restrict your account. All these things will only come up in the court. If you take them to court, then
yes,
they are forced in their defense to say we complied with instructions from social agency. And they have at that point to tender that particular instruction. That is where you get it. But on your own as a customer, when your account is restricted, you can demand from them, but they will never give you the letter from the security agency restricting your account. They will just tell you, at the most, they will tell you your account was restricted by social agency. That's the highest they can tell you.
Obviously, you are absolutely right. I agree with you on that. Obviously, nobody will do that. No bank will do that. Okay, Barrister, first, honestly, this video, before we talk about the legal angle, viewers, be patient. Let me talk briefly about VDM, Very Dark Man. The impression I had about him initially, I never, in fact, I wasn't me. I'm not a celebrity kind of person. I have a kind of a put off with celebrities somehow. I just don't like celebrities. Not for any reason, but just naturally, I just don't, anyone that has to do with fame, I don't know, for whatever reason. So this Very Dark Man, from the beginning, I started hearing about him because of some controversies or whatever. So usually when something becomes nagging or persistent, you'll be tempted to say, what's really, let me even read this story. Before you see me going into celebrity stuff, that means the whole thing has become a trending stuff. It's like this VDM thing. I found out, I eventually decided to go into the details just yesterday but I was informed that it actually happened on Friday, on the 2nd or whatever. So you can imagine. So that's because I don't too much pay attention to celebrity stuff. But I initially had a bad impression of VDM until I decided to actually go into his personality. And I found out that he's a very nice guy. Because one thing, something puts me off, no matter if you're a celebrity, there is your outfit, your lifestyle actually puts me off. So what actually put me off him was, I just initially saw him as an area boy, someone who is probably a bodybuilder, who doesn't like putting on shirt, who dresses anyhow, and bare body and other stuff with piercings here and there and tattoos here and there or whatever. But eventually, just like they say, don't judge the book by its cover. That's exactly what happens. The guy seems to have a very good heart. He's been helping the less privileged. He's been helping people who cannot fight for themselves. He's been speaking against the government. He's been antagonistic to the government. And probably that is why someone like Sheyi Tinubu is involved here. It's sort of because he's been very, very critical of politicians and the government of the day. It's sort of. So, and he's been very, very helpful and been spending a lot of money to help people. He has uplifted so many people, encouraged so many people. He's actually fighting for the masses. It's sort of. But sometimes I wonder how he really actually I don't know the kind of business he does. Probably he's making his money through online stuff or whatever. I don't know. But the basic thing is that the guy is a nice guy. He seems to be, he has virtue that actually conflicts with his outward appearance. And his outward appearance was actually what actually kept me away from him. But I think I thought wrongly then. But okay, that being said, that's my current state of mind on VDM. So I think he's a good guy. He's someone that everyone should encourage and support and actually advocate against the government to release him, a sort of. So, Barrister, let's move into the legal aspect of it. Now, I read that because when I heard about this story and it became a sensation, an online sensation, I was wondering what exactly did this guy do? This guy that is good and nice and helping other people, helping less privileged, or what? I was actually curious to find out the crime he committed, and only to hear that the crime has to do with cyber stalking. Barrister, does that, I don't understand, cyber stalking? Do we have does our law recognize that's cyber stalking? Sorry, I think there's your sound. Can you repeat what you said again?
Thank you very much for that question. VERYDARKMAN has been arrested on several occasions, and almost it has to do with his activities on social media. In Nigeria today, the police and other agencies are using the law which has been passed on stalking and this thing on social media. And they are abusing it as much as they can. You say anything, even what we are discussing now on this show, we can be accused of cyber stalking by police, by EFCC, and other, even the DSS. That is the in thing now in Nigeria. They are using that law, which at the beginning people thought it had good intentions because the social media was haywire, had gone
Toxic,
haywire.
yeah.
People were very toxic. People said so much inciting stuff. A lot of things were there, and people began to campaign and think, let's regulate the social media. Again, I always make the point, we do fire brigade approach to every issue. Once we are confronted with an issue, we do not critique, we did not study the problem from every angle. We just rush. Once this issue came up in the National Assembly, they passed a law which is now which is now being used. Most of the people that have been arrested by police is in respect of comments they made on social media, on their social media platforms. And you know, VERYDARKMAN is principally operating on social media. So for the past arrest, it's also the same thing, cyber stalking. If you make a comment on somebody, as we make here repeatedly on Tinubu, on Sheyi, and other persons, it is almost, we can be charged for cyber stalking. We can be charged for other cyber crimes under the law. There is presently a law that they are charging people under that.
Wow. All right. So that means that charge is potent, but whether it will survive, it will succeed in the legal process is another thing. Now,
that is another thing altogether. Whether at the end they can secure a conviction is another thing altogether. But whatever case they have you have suffered, you have been arrested, your freedom has been taken away, your fundamental rights have been deprived.
Now,
so that the aim and purpose has been achieved. Most of these things is not as if they actually want to send somebody to prison. They want to just deal with you, show you that they can deal with you, they can get you arrested, they can get you detained, and make you to suffer. You know the mentality of the average.
But at the same time, if the thing is, if we have the law, if our law supports that, if our law recognizes it, then who knows? Because the government, the establishment, they are so wicked, they may want to actually punish you perpetually by incarcerating you legally.
Of course, if they get away with it, if they charge you and they're able to prove you go to prison, they are happy for it. But even if you are eventually discharged from the court, you have already suffered.
Yeah.
So they can take that and go home with it.
All right. Now, what is it now? There are so many. There are some cases that are actually, there are some charges that are actually difficult to prove. Just like issue of rape case, the issue of election case, there are some matters that are difficult to prove. How easy or how difficult is this cyber stalking? E- uh, di- uh, um, Easy or difficult to prove in the court?
Talking is not that difficult because everything is on can be recorded. The interview we are doing now, this talking we are doing now is recorded. Somebody, the DSS, the police, or this thing can record even from this thing that we are talking. They
Yeah,
can
I
get
understand. Yeah, but
the
is there a standard definition of what stalking is? That is there a way that is there a specific or unambiguous way the law actually that recognizes this crime? Is there a way it defines it? A clear definition?
talking is on itself a very minor offense in ordinary life.
Okay.
It now just transport into the cyberspace. If in ordinary life you are following somebody, apparently with ulterior motives, the person goes to his house, you surface. He goes to social place, you surface. As if you are trailing him, you are tracking him. You understand?
Yes.
That is stalking in real life. Now transport it to the cyberspace, social media. You are talking about somebody, relating his actions, which for them may be false, and you are using it. There is also what allied to it is cyber
Bullying
incitement.
or incitement.
Incitement. So they are all allied. So this talking is more difficult to prove than the incitement and defamation and the other things
Yeah.
that are out there. But the cyber stalking is a bit more difficult because the element is a continuous entanglement of the victim of the object
Okay.
in a very nefarious way. So if you have genuine intention, if you are doing a proper public affairs commentary on an issue, it will not amount to stalking. We try to, on this show, we try to make it public commentary
Yeah. Okay.
on affairs of the country, on corruption, on governance, and other things.
That is why.
We have genuine intention to contribute to the national space,
Good.
the
Yeah.
national debate.
Yeah, that is why I asked this question because stalking, everyone knows with the definition of stalking, but sometimes the law can be ambiguous in its interpretation. Sometimes it can be unambiguous. So that is why I actually asked specifically, what is the legal definition of, not the dictionary, the English definition, the legal definition of stalking, a sort of. So because I can, following you on social media, obviously, automatically, if I follow you on social media, you follow me on social media, automatically, whatever happens you do online, whatever anything that happens to you online, obviously, I receive the news. And if I receive the news, I can talk about it just like every other person. I can criticize or comment or do whatever I want to do with that such information. So I don't know. Can this be considered as stalking? That's my point.
No. Stalking is much more than just ordinary commentary. Stalking involves a nefarious intent to expose the victim to some kind of danger, some kind of harm. Or that is the one on social media, cyber stalking. You are not just talking about making commentary about the person, you are giving out his particulars, his address, his itinerary, his schedules, and other things, so that anybody who has intention to harm the person can also key into it and utilize it for their own benefit. Ordinary commentary on this thing, and that is the reason why nobody has been able to be convicted in Nigeria so far on cyber stalking, although police keep charging people to court on that very crime, but I am not aware of anybody that has so far been convicted of cyber stalking, because it is the particulars of the offense are far more than what the police used to put out there.
All right. Now, why the EFCC? Because when I heard the EFCC arrested VDM, I was expecting to hear a kind of a financial crime charge against him, only to find out that they intend to charge him for cyber stalking. I don't know. That's supposed to be police work, not EFCC. Why the involvement of the EFCC?
Well, let's say that the charges so far are prospective, and we have not yet seen a clear statement from EFCC that this is what they are going to charge him with, or whether they are even going to charge him to court. This happened day before yesterday, which is Friday. Normally, before the EFCC takes somebody to court, it takes much longer than that. And what I come to know with EFCC is they act on petitions by individuals or even corporate entities. And they first do a background check on the petition. In most cases, they can invite you by phone that come to our office on social date for interview. If you fail, then they can put in motion the machinery for arrest. That's not to say that in appropriate cases, they will not go direct. They do raise when they have reason to raid people, particularly in the dead of night, to arrest people, to arrest all these people doing cyber crimes, online crimes. They do that without complaint on their own. But this is the way they normally operate. So I am suspecting that apparently somebody has made a complaint to them against VDM, but it is not in their place to just charge somebody for cyber stalking. Their jurisdiction, in summary, relates to financial crimes. So if they are not able to bring any charges against a people that relate to financial crimes, they are out of their depth, they are out of their jurisdiction. That is just it. Any charges that they file against a person that do not relate to financial crime, they will not have the powers to do that. The police, and that's why in most of these cyber stalking and cyber crimes, it is the police that have been charging people. But if the cyber crime relates to money or financial dealings, then the EFCC are well within their powers to charge somebody for. In this case, like I said, it's an evolving story. We are not yet very sure of what exactly the reason they have arrested him and what they intend to charge him for. We're only speculating so far.
All right, back to the bank issue. I don't get it. EFCC, what VERYDARKMAN is a public figure, a celebrity. So why couldn't they just invite? Why couldn't they just invite him instead of this public show? I don't get it. Why conniving with GTBank to do that when they could have just invited him? And obviously he could have. So for someone that I think that we all know, he could have obviously honored the invitation.
Again, well, I can only speculate from my experience in practice as a lawyer. Whenever a powerful person is involved in trying to get somebody arrested, they want to cut corners. Okay, if you are invited, they will give you time, come on social date for interview. In between that time, you can get lawyers, maybe they will approach the court for other reasons. So when a powerful person is behind some of these things, they want to cut off those avenues, those processes. They want an immediate arrest and detention just to satisfy their
Okay.
appetite to satisfy their this thing that yes, they have the capacity to deal with you. That is the way I see it. Otherwise, in the normal operations of EFCC, they used to even write a letter to somebody or call you on the phone that we have a petition against you, report to our office, social place on social date, meet the undersigned or meet the person calling you and for an interview. But when the government or when powerful individuals
I'm
are
involved.
behind it, you will see all those ones cut off.
Okay. All right.
And you can see what happened to Dele Farrow to me. That is an example.
Yeah. Okay.
Even
Yeah.
though it was not them, they this is a well-known popular lawyer that they could have called him, come to our office for interview. But because somebody wanted to deal with him, they had to humiliate him, go and pick him up, and like a common criminal, and drive him all the way from Lagos to Ekiti. So something akin to that is what I speculate will be behind this thing.
All right. Arista, thank you so very much. And yeah, I think that is it. We've taken care of all the angles. Thank you for this. This show was actually impromptu, and I feel so honored that you had to answer this call to actually feature this your opinion. We appreciate it so much. Thank you, Barrister. And viewers, yes, you just heard Barrister Austin Manta. So let's hear your view. You can send us a comment, your opinion in the comment section. Tell us what you think. What do you think about VDM? What do you think about the government? What do you think about EFCC? What do you think about GTBank? What is your thought about it? So let's discuss and remain blessed.